Hello and welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I'm your host, Gabe Peterson, and this is the place investors go to gain actionable advice, learn about current market trends, and hear war stories from other professional investors out there in the field today. Before we get started, I have two quick housekeeping items for you. First, if you like this episode, we would very much appreciate a like, subscribe, and share. It is the best way to support the show and keep it running far into the future. Second, if you're a new investor looking to get started in real estate or an experienced investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you that will cover how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance those deals with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. On top of that, I throw in an insane amount of free bonuses that you'll have access to once you buy the ebook. All I charge is our admin costs to keep this show running. So if you're serious about real estate investing and want to create both active and passive income as an investor, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com and click on the button that says get the ebook in the upper right-hand corner to grab yourself a copy. With that said, let's dive right in. Today we have a very special guest with us, ready to drop some investor knowledge on you. So buckle up, grab your pen and paper, and enjoy the ride. All right, we are live with another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. Today we have with us Adam Riddle. Adam is the co-founder of Nexus Commercial, which is a large multifamily brokerage, and they do buy and holds as well. So they actually manage these properties. So Adam, thank you very much for hopping on the show. How are you today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, right on. So we always start out with stories here. We are big stories. So why don't you take us back to the beginning? How did you get started in real estate in the first place?
That's a great question and kind of an interesting story. I had no experience in real estate whatsoever, and was looking for a job that and a career that I could, have a high ceiling and work really hard, and but also have flexibility in schedule. And so real estate was kind of something I was drawn to in that way. And in 2007, I actually responded to a Craigslist ad for to get into the real estate business as a cold caller for some other successful real estate brokers at the time.
I love it.
For some reason, they thought I was a good choice, and they ended up hiring me. And it's been almost 14 years at this point. So it's been a fun ride. It was a great time. It was a great time to get started right before the financial crisis in 2008, 2009.
Yeah,
perfect time to get into real estate.
And that's I love hearing when people get started in, like, I would consider that the trenches of real estate, cold calling, door knocking. I mean, that is you're hitting so many no's, and it's really the essence of, if you can get through that, then you got something. You're going to be able to make it through to the other side.
Yeah, it's a challenge getting into real estate for a lot of people, and it's a high failure rate for sure, especially at that time. So it's been a nice ride having the last 8, 9, 10 years in a good market versus the bad market. But this year was a little interesting.
Yeah, we are recording this during COVID times. It is October 23rd of 2020, so hopefully that will be ended soon. And you did see success after that. You went into multifamily with Nexus. But I want to stick a little bit more on the cold calling, because just that's such an interesting thing. And I like, as I said, I like it when people start out in those positions and then they make their way up, because that is so hard to do. So how did cold calling go? Like, take us through kind of the steps that you went through, and how long did you do it? How many calls did you get to actually make a close?
I think our goal was 250 to 300 a week.
Oh, okay.
So we would, we had a database of apartment owners that was, already built out and kind of up and down the Front Range of Colorado. And it was just smile and dial, and you hear no and leave voicemails. And I kind of got a reputation of being pretty tenacious in calling people. And I would leave so many voicemails that somebody would finally call me back and be like, I have to hear what you have to say, because you've called me and I've never called you back. You keep calling me. So I just want to, I got some callbacks from just being tenacious and continuing to call people over the years. And, that's how it starts out. And then obviously you get to know some people and some people in the business, and get to earn their business and their trust, and become more of an advisor role. You don't have to do that quite as much as your career progresses, but I still do some of it. I kind of like it now. I don't do it very often, to kind of get on the phone with one of the people we have here that are newer on the phone, and kind of run them through a cold call, and then have them listen to me, and kind of hopefully try to teach some people some good techniques.
Yep, I love it. You remind me of my partner. He's the king of the phone, and I don't know how he does it, but I give a lot of props to you guys. Do you remember, just like off the top of your head, what was your conversion rate from call to, not close, but call to lead, I guess?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't remember what it was. Our biggest thing was setting up meetings, whether it was going to lead to a deal that day or not. Our training was to set up a meeting. People don't do business with people over the phone, so we always try to set up meetings. And it took me, meeting a lot of people to get that first deal going, and then hopefully the snowball goes from there. And then some people, it took me 5 or 6 years of meeting once every 3 or 4 months, and just chatting about the market before they finally decided to kind of make that next step, and make a purchase or a sale. So some of them I'm still working on. Still haven't done a deal with them, but we still continue to chat, and try to meet here and there, and go over what's going on out there in the market as it changes rapidly.
Yep, for sure. And that is one of my favorite parts about real estate, is it is so heavily focused on relationships. And so it's, I love creating relationships. I love, the give and take in relationships. And that is central to real estate, just as you've seen. You said what, once every 3 to 4 months for how many years? Has been your longest client?
It's probably that I've actually done a transaction with was 6 years, I think, with a gentleman that just was very cautious about making any big financial moves, was retired, and then we ended up taking him from a smaller complex, a 10 unit, into and doing a 1031 exchange into a 42 unit, and then doing an exchange out of that into an 80 unit, and probably upped his cash flow by 10 times and his equity by 20 times, and over the course of 4 or 5 years. So,
Awesome.
but it took a long time just to gain that trust that I was going to look out for his best interest, and that and he has kids that he's looking out for. These are in trust for the family, and so that's a great story. And we're scheduling a lunch next week. He's not doing any real estate these days, but we'd still like to go get caught up and see how the family's doing and all that kind of good stuff. So
I love it. So, I mean, that's how you started. You got started cold calling, but you haven't been doing that in your entire career. You've branched out since then. The snowball has picked up. So take us to what you're doing today. You're at Nexus. You guys are both a commercial brokerage, and you buy and hold large multifamily. So how's your business running today?
Business is good. It was a little scary in April and May, but world was falling apart, deals were falling apart. But in being around in 08, 09, 2010, we knew multifamily is always a strong sector to be in. People still need a place to live. And so we knew it would come back. Business has been really, really strong this last half of the year. And we've got, this month we'll close more transactions in October than we've probably closed all year.
Oh, wow.
So we've definitely backloaded our sales goals for the last half of the year, just after everything collapsing. And what we're doing on the investing side these days, we believe in real estate as a great thing to grow wealth, and we don't necessarily go invest a lot on our own. We don't want to compete with clients, but we end up actually investing alongside of our clients in certain projects. We feel like that's putting skin in the game, and continue to build that relationship and trust. And so we've been doing a lot of that over the last 2 or 3 years. Is just you only have so much time and money, but when available, being able to kind of be a limited partner in some deals. And so that's been fun. And we actually started investing in some stuff out of state, which I've never done before, but and wouldn't do if I was on my own. But have somebody that makes the trips out and checks properties and all that kind of good stuff, so you don't have to go do that.
I love it. I'm actually buying my first multifamily out in Cleveland. So I'm in Seattle. I mean, it's a ridiculously priced market, just like Denver. And so I've been attracted to Cleveland for a while, and I just did the first pull. It's a really small one, but yeah, out of state marketing or investing is always scary unless you got somebody that you trust out there.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, it's you got to have somebody that knows the market and has the operation efficiency to be able to operate those things. That's the key, right?
Yep. So do you guys do active investing, or is it all passive for you, all limited partnerships?
No, we have in the past. You know, we were taught from our previous company that, you know, real estate investing is a great way to learn the business. You know, I've signed on a note that I couldn't pay back before.
That's a lesson you got to learn.
I've got you know, I've been through the eviction process and met the sheriff at a property. I've gotten calls in the middle of the night and for leaks, and so, you know, kind of done the whole gamut. I've managed small assets when you know, income was a little rough, so that was a little way to have a little bit of extra lunch money there. And so I think that helped my business partner and I, Jason, really, you know, get a well-rounded understanding of this business to be able to relate to the person you're sitting across the table from. That I've been there, I've done that, I've done a 1031 exchange, I've come down to the 45th day and identification and not having, you know, something or to that you really like, and okay, do I blow this exchange, do I not blow it, you know? So we've kind of been there and we've done that. So I think that's a relatable experience to most principals. And but today it's probably a little more on the LP, and then we've kind of branched out into some other asset types, you know, some office and industrial and things of that nature as well.
Cool. So office and industrial, interesting. So I've heard, sorry, that just jumped into my mind because so many people are going away from office these days. They don't consider it, they don't see the future of office as being promising. What's your view on that?
I don't know. I think it'll come back. Our stuff's doing fine. You know, our portfolio, we had a few tenants that needed, you know, 90 days, and we're happy to work with people. Obviously, this was a challenging time for many people. So I think being able to be flexible, and banks were our lenders were also flexible with us. So everybody kind of had to give a little bit, but everything's been doing pretty well. And I think, I don't know, the future of office. I mean, I know our office, which is, you know, not a big office. We have 19 people, but I mean, people were really anxious to get back to the office. And maybe that's the business we're in, because it's a very social and we're talking deals and, hey, this is what I heard. But people were very anxious to get back to the office. So I think it'll come back. I think there may be some pain for a little bit as we continue to kind of go through what we're going through right now, but I think it'll come back. I think it'll come back in a different way potentially, though. I mean, we do still have flexible work hours and work from home, so we, you know, there's probably less in the office. So I think people will look at the footprint and what they potentially need going forward more, and potentially be downsizing, but still wanting an office, but maybe not need the space that they needed previously.
Yep, that is kind of where I stand too. It's office isn't going away because, I mean, people in my family, you know, they're supposed to be, they work at Amazon, Microsoft, etc., and they're just going crazy because they're not at the office, and when you don't have those people around you to work with, does not work. Working from home is great in some situations, but it's usually not, in my opinion. We're social people. We got to be out there. So on that note, like, going back to multifamily, where do you see that going in the future? So I just said it's late October, we're going into November. That is almost a year for COVID. How do you see multifamily kind of progressing as we get out of this and I guess go into the future there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the multifamily has proven resilient again during this time. I think in the beginning, there was definitely a lot of questions like, are we going to, are we going to have an 08, 09, 2010 again? And we're definitely getting calls from buyers that were hoping for that, wanting to get into the Denver market and seeing a potential opportunity to get a discount. That has not happened. I think a couple of things are continuing to drive at least the Colorado multifamily market. Debt is unbelievable. So we were meeting with a national Fannie and Freddie lender yesterday that was in town from California. And, we just did a couple of deals at 2.5% on debt.
Commercial?
For multifamily.
Wow.
So, I mean, when you have debt available at such cheap rates.
Below inflation, that's free money.
Yeah, it's essentially, right? So, you've got great debt out there. And then I think the thing that, people were not, that's very different about 08, 09 is the liquidity that's still in the market is substantial. People came into this COVID with deep pockets and ready to pounce on opportunities. So we're seeing new money coming from all over San Francisco, Seattle, LA, New York, Boston, trying to get into the market. I think we had 44 deals under contract last week. I think 28 of them were to first-time buyers in Colorado.
Wow.
So there's just a
that's
lot.
More than half. That's crazy.
Just a lot of new capital coming to the market. We closed a 128 unit with a group from Canada last week. We're closing a deal from a group with Brazil next week. I mean, it's just kind of a wild time that there's just a ton of capital. And I think it's not just Colorado. I mean, I've got friends in the brokerage business around the country, and they're seeing a ton of interest from just a lot of different capital sources out there. So I feel like multifamily will continue to be a strong place for people to put their money in, a safe investment. I think obviously it's market by market. I think some markets were hit a little harder, and maybe seeing some more vacancy and collection issues around the country. But Denver's fared pretty well, and I think coming out of this, hopefully, next year and get some sort of vaccine and get back to normal. I think people are going to continue to see that multifamily is a great spot. Yep.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat with you there. Just out of curiosity, what is the main industry in Denver? Is it it's tech, right?
We have tech. We are one of the largest government jobs out of DC. But it's very, and that started probably 20 years ago, but it used to be a big oil and gas town, and they've really diversified at this point. So we definitely still have our oil and gas, but we have the big tech, big government jobs, and they continue. The metro economic development continues to attract large companies to relocate here, and so they do a good job of that. I think our biggest challenge as a metro area is it's becoming very expensive on the single family home side, and I know Seattle probably deals with that as well. So if you're looking at a large company is looking to relocate, that obviously goes into the factors is how many people that work at my company can afford to live there, can afford to buy a house. So it's continuing to climb. I mean, I bought my first house in 2010, and you could barely buy a studio for that these days. And it was a 3-bedroom house. So it's a little bit of a challenge. And I know a few of the people in our office have tried to buy a house, and it's just getting really expensive, and it's really, really competitive at this point. Denver's market on the residential side is kind of crazy, actually.
Man, builders, if you're listening to this, go to Denver, start building some houses. Sounds like they need some more on the market there.
Exactly.
All right. Well, hey, we've pounced through our 20-minute mark, so it's time to push into the quick question round. It's where I ask quick questions, you give quick responses. Starts with books. I'm a big bookie, so if you could give one recommendation for a real estate book and one for just general life wisdom.
Oh man. Good to Great is always a great book that I go back to quite often. Let's see. We read this is my newest book that I'm reading, Think Like a Monk.
I like it.
So that's probably the two books that I'm always trying to read and try to understand and get better at just life in general, not even real estate related these days. So those are my two.
Yeah, and usually they go hand in hand. If you get better at one part of life, it helps out the rest of the life. So that's
Exactly.
it's good. And then Jay Shetty, I've followed him on something, I don't know. I like his content. It's very positive.
Yeah.
Next question is habits. Habits are the foundation of our life. So if you could point to one habit in your life that you feel has kind of contributed the most to where you are today, what would that be?
I think self-discipline, in I think real estate, whether it's investing or brokerage, you have to have a lot of self-discipline. We don't get paid by the hour. We don't have a salary. So with that, you have to be, disciplined to get up and have a productive day. So self-discipline.
I like it. And kind of on that same note, if you could go back to the Adam who was, just getting out of college, who all you had in your mind was that you wanted a high ceiling and flexible schedule, and you didn't really know anything else, go to him, look him in the eye, and give him one piece of advice going forward.
Work more.
Wow, I haven't heard that one before. Work more. I like it.
Older family. I worked a lot of hours when I was younger, but looking back, I could have worked more hours. Now time is limited. I like to go home and be with my family. So when I didn't have all those other things in my life, I wish I would have put in a few more hours.
Perspective looking back is a bitch sometimes, right? And now it's time to flex your muscles. So give yourself a few accolades. What are you absolutely kick-ass at? What is your superpower?
Oh, superpower. I know the market really well. I'm kind of, some people would call it an encyclopedia of apartment buildings in Denver. I can usually tell you unit mixes, who owns it now, who owned it previously, what it probably sold for, when last time it was renovated. So I know the market and track the market pretty regularly.
Awesome. I love it. That is a super useful skill when it comes to brokerages for sure. And next question, this one is kind of a gimme given that you are focused entirely on Denver, but what is a market or a place that you are really excited about investing in?
I think Boise has got a lot of great things going for it. We were up there a couple of years ago checking it out and should have pulled the trigger on some stuff at that time because it's only gotten better. So I think that's an up and coming market that's not, I think it's on the map for a lot of people, but still kind of off the radar for some as well.
Yep, we're right. Well, not right next to you, but we're relatively close to Boise out here in Seattle, and I guess as close as you guys are. So I've been hearing a lot about Boise too. People are pretty excited about it. I haven't been out there myself, but I've heard good things.
Yeah.
Last questions for the listeners. You've given us great advice about multifamily. So if someone wanted to reach out to you and get in contact, what would be the best way for them to do that?
Shoot me an email. It's a Riddle, Riddle, at Nexus, NEXUS-CR.com. And happy to talk about the market, what we're seeing and what we think the market's going to do. Always happy to chat.
Perfect. So that is a Riddle, Riddle, at Nexus-CR.com. I will put that in the show notes. So if you see the little more button under the description, click that. It'll pop down the full description. And in there, you can find Adam's contact information. I'll also see if I can pull out his LinkedIn as well. So multiple ways to reach out. Go and say hi to Adam. Again, Adam, thank you for hopping on the show today. Had a blast talking to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. For everybody who's here on the show with us today, thank you guys for showing up. We couldn't do this without you. In fact, you are the reason that we do this. So thank you for being here. Again, the best way to support the show is just to subscribe, like, share this episode with your friends and family. Other than that, hope you have an absolutely fantastic week. Keep kicking ass at real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed putting it on, and we're able to pull some actionable advice that you can apply in your own investing today in the field. Before you go, we have a gift for you. If you're a new investor looking to get started or an established investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you, available on our website. This ebook will cover how I was able to create both active and passive income in real estate with very little money to start with. In it, I will address the 3 most often cited obstacles new and veteran investors run into by showing you how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance a deal with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. And if you get the ebook today, I am throwing in a bundle of bonuses, 7 of them to be exact. The first one will be the off-market lead generation blueprint, which will take you through the exact systems and processes we use to generate off-market leads like clockwork, which is the most important skill when it comes to creating wealth in real estate. The second bonus is the A to Z REI systems and vendors guide, which will allow you to peek under the hood of our business and see the exact tools, systems, and even the vendors we use to see the success that we do. And the third bonus is the top 100 best performing keywords pack, which will give you the exact keywords we use to target motivated sellers online using PPC ads. The fourth bonus is our contracts bundle for wholesaling and renting real estate, which will give you access to all the contracts we use in the field to execute all different types of transactions. After that is the Investors Quick Analysis Calculator and Offer Tool, which will allow you to quickly calculate whether a deal is an actual deal and will allow you to create an offer automatically from those calculations. This is a lot of bonuses that I said. I'm just going to keep going down the list. Number 6 is the Investors Daily Success Tracker, which is a tracker you can use to ensure you are taking the right actions day in and day out to reach your financial goals in real estate. And the last bonus is the Wholesalers Template for Quick Assignment Cash, which will give you the templates we use to present our wholesale deals professionally and efficiently to our buyers. Whew, that is a bundle. So it's a mouthful. You get all of those bonuses for free when you download the ebook. All we charge is the admin cost to run the show. So if you're interested in the ebook and the bonus bundle, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Click on Get the Ebook Bundle at the top of the page to take advantage of that deal. And with that said, I hope you have a fantastic day, an even better week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.